From translation, NIV New International Version, this 129th day of the year, today we are reading passages 1 Chronicles 25-27, 1 Chronicles chapter 25, verses 1 to 31. David, together with the commanders of the army, set apart some of the sons of Asaph, Heman and Jeduthun for the ministry of prophesying, accompanied by harps, lyres and cymbals. Here is the list of the men who performed this service. From the sons of Asaph, Zachar, Joseph, Nethaniah and Asaiah. The sons of Asaph were under the supervision of Asaph, who prophesied under the king's direction. From Jeduthun, the sons of Jeduthun, Jedaliah, Zeri, Jeshiah, Shimei, Hashabiah and Mattithiah, 6 in all, under the supervision of their father Jeduthun, who prophesied, using the harp in thanking and praising the Lord and in prophesying. From Heman, the sons of Heman, Bechiah, Mattaniah, Uziel, Shebuel, Jeremoth, Hananiah, Hanani, Eliathah, Gidalti, Romamtiezer, Joshbekasha, Malothi, Hosea and Mahaziath. All these were sons of Heman the king's seer. God had given Heman 14 sons and 3 daughters. All these were under the supervision of their father for the music in the house of the Lord, with cymbals, lyres and harps, for the service of the house of God. Asaph, Jeduthun and Heman were under the supervision of the king. The number of them and their fellow trained men who were trained in singing to the Lord, together with all who were skilled, was 288. Lots were cast, young and old alike, for each gate. The first lot fell to Joseph, the second to Jedaliah, one of the sons of Jeduthun, and the third to Zachar, his son and his brothers, 12 in all. The third lot fell to Zachar, his sons and relatives, 12. The fourth to Isri, his sons and relatives, 12. The fifth to Nethaniah, his sons and relatives, 12. The sixth to Bechiah, his sons and relatives, 12. The seventh to Jeshua, his sons and relatives, 12. The eighth to Jeshiah, his sons and relatives, 12. The ninth to Mattaniah, his sons and relatives, 12. The 10th to Shimei, his sons and relatives, 12. The 11th to Aziel, his sons and relatives, 12. The 12th to Hashabiah, his sons and relatives, 12. The 13th to Subil, his sons and relatives, 12. The 14th to Mattithiah, his sons and relatives, 12. The 15th to Jeremoth, his sons and relatives, 12. The 16th to Hananiah, his sons and relatives, 12. The 17th to Joshbekasha, his sons and relatives, 12. The 18th to Hanani, his sons and relatives, 12. The 19th to Malothi, his sons and relatives, 12. The 20th to Eliathah, his sons and relatives, 12. The 21st to Hosea, his sons and relatives, 12. The 22nd to Gidalti, his sons and relatives, 12. The 23rd to Mahaziath, his sons and relatives, 12. The 24th to Romamtiezer, his sons and relatives, 12. 1 Chronicles chapter 26, verses 1 to 32 concerning the divisions of the gatekeepers. From the Korahites, Meshelemiah son of Korah, one of the sons of Asaph. Meshelemiah had sons: Zechariah the firstborn, Jediel the second, Zebina the third, Jasin the fourth, Elam the fifth, Jehohanan the sixth, and Elihonai the seventh. Obed-Edom also had sons: Shemaiah the firstborn, Jehozabad the second, Jo the third, Sakkar the fourth, Nethanel the fifth, Amiel the sixth, Issachar the seventh, and Pulatai the eighth. God had blessed Obed-Edom. His son Shemaiah also had sons, who were leaders in their father's house, because they were men of great ability. The sons of Shemaiah, Othni, Raphael, Obed and Elzabad, whose relatives were able men, Elihu and Semachiah, also were strong men. All these were descendants of Obed-Edom. They and their sons and relatives were capable men with the strength to do the work, 286 in all. Meshelemiah had sons and relatives, who were capable men, 18 in all. Hossa from the Merarites had sons: Shimri the first, although he was not the firstborn, his father had appointed him the first, Hilkiah the second, Tebaliah the third, Zechariah the fourth. All the sons and relatives of Hossa were 13 in all. Among these divisions of the gatekeepers, the Korahites had charge of the treasuries of the temple of God. Their fellow Levites were assigned to the treasuries of the house of God. The descendants of Ladan, who were descendants of the Gershonites through Ladan, and the descendants of the Merarites through Ladan, the descendants of Jehili, Zetham and his brother Joel, were in charge of the treasuries of the temple of God. From the Amramites, the Izharites, the Hebronites and the Uzzielites, Shubil, a descendant of Amram, was supervisor of the treasuries. His fellow descendants of Eleazar, Rehabiah his son, Jeshiah his son, Joram his son, Zikri his son and Shelomith his son. Shelomith and his relatives were in charge of all the treasuries dedicated by King David, by the family leaders and by the thousands of army commanders. From the Amramites, the Izharites, the Hebronites and the Uzzielites, Shebuel, a descendant of Moses' son Gershom, was the official in charge of the treasuries. His fellow descendants of Eleazar, Rehabiah his son, Jeshiah his son, Joram his son, Zikri his son and Shelomith his son. the descendants of Izhar, Shelemith his son, the descendants of Hebron. Jeriah the first, Amariah the second, Jahaziel the third, and Jechimam the fourth, the descendants of Uzziel, Micah the first, and Jeshiah the second, the sons of Merari, Mali and Mushi. The son of Josiah, Beno, the sons of Merari from Josiah, Beno, Shoham, Zachar, and Ibri. The sons of Merari from Shimei, Jahath, Ziza, Jush, and Beriah. Jahath was the first, the sons of Kohath. Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel, 4 in all. The descendants of Amram, Aaron and Moses. Aaron was set apart, he and his descendants forever, to consecrate the most holy things, to offer sacrifices before the Lord, to minister before him, and to pronounce blessings in his name forever. Now as for the rest of the descendants of Kohath, from the Kohathite clans of the Levites who were responsible for the care of the sanctuary were 2750. These were the men David put in charge of the service of song in the house of the Lord after the ark was set in place. 1 Chronicles chapter 27, verses 1 to 34. This is the list of the Israelites, heads of families and commanders of thousands and hundreds, and their officers, who served the king in all that concerned the divisions that were on rotation monthly. Each division consisted of 24,000 men. Over the first division for the first month, Jashobam son of Zabdiel, with 24,000 men. He was a descendant of Perez and chief of all the commanders of the army for the first month. Over the division for the second month, Dodai an Ahohite, with 24,000 men. The commander of the third division for the third month was Benaiah son of Jehoiada, a chief priest. He was a valiant man with great exploits. This Benaiah was a mighty man of valor from Kabzeel, a doer of great deeds. He struck down 2 Moabite captains. In one battle he went down and struck down a lion in a pit on a snowy day. He was more honored than the 30 chief men, but he did not become one of the 30. After him was Ammizabad his son, who commanded his division. The fourth division for the fourth month was commanded by Joab son of Zeruiah. In it were 24,000 men. The fifth commander for the fifth month was Shamhus the Izrahite. In his division were 24,000 men. The sixth commander for the sixth month was Ira son of Ikesh the Tekoite. In his division were 24,000 men. The seventh commander for the seventh month was Helez the Pelonite, an Ephraimite. In his division were 24,000 men. The eighth commander for the eighth month was Sibbecai the Hushathite, a Zerahite. In his division were 24,000 men. The ninth commander for the ninth month was Abiezer the Anathothite, a Benjaminite. In his division were 24,000 men. The 10th commander for the 10th month was Maharai the Netophathite, a Zerahite. In his division were 24,000 men. The 11th commander for the 11th month was Benaiah the Pirathonite, an Ephraimite. In his division were 24,000 men. The 12th commander for the 12th month was Heldai the Netophathite, a descendant of Othniel. In his division were 24,000 men. Over the tribes of Israel, the leader of the Reubenites was Eleazar son of Zikri. Over the Simonites, Shephatiah son of Maacah. Over the Levites, Hashabiah son of Kemuel. Over the Aaronites, Zadok over Judah, Elihu a brother of David over Issachar, Omri son of Michael over Zebulun, Ishmaiah son of Obadiah over Naphtali, Jeremoth son of Azriel over the Ephraimites, Hoshea son of Azaziah over half the tribe of Manasseh, Joel son of Pedaiah over half the tribe of Manasseh, Iddo son of Zechariah. Over Benjamin, Jasiel son of Abner. Over Dan, Asriel son of Jeroham. These were the commanders of the tribes of Israel. David did not take a census of the men 20 years old or less, because the Lord had promised to make Israel as numerous as the stars in the sky. This is the list of the divisions of the commanders who served the king. Over the royal treasuries, Jehoshaphat son of Ahilud. The king's storehouses and supplies, Jonathan son of Uzziah. Those who worked the land, the officials over the fields for the farming of the land, Ezri son of Kelub, the vineyards, Zabdi the Shifmite, the vineyards for the wine stores, Zimri the son of Zimri. The sellers of the wine, Bakbukiah, a descendant of those in Hakkos. The olive and sycamore fig trees in the foothills, Baalhanan the Gederite, the olive oil stores, Josh, the herds grazing in Sharon, Shitrai the Sharonite, the herds in the valleys, Shaphat son of Adlai, the camels, Obal the Ishmaelite, the donkeys, Jadiah the Meronothite, the flocks, Jaziz the Hagrite. All these were officials in charge of King David's property. Jonathan, David's uncle, was a counselor, a wise man and a scribe. Jehiel son of Hakmoni took care of the king's sons. Ahithophel was the king's counselor, and Hushai the Archite was the king's friend. Ahithophel was succeeded by Jehoiada son of Benaiah, and by Abiathar. Joab was the commander of the royal guard.